Hello, intuitive friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lexa Tarot, and I am a second degree Reiki practitioner as well as an intuitive tarot and oracle reader. And if you are interested in learning more about me, my client testimonials, or my credentials, just take a look down below in the description box, as well as in the chat, as all my information links are there. That being said, for those of you who are watching this after this super chat live and you would like to take part in future super chat lives, well, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell and all notification alerts so that when I am doing a super chat live, you are notified and alerted. That being said, please note that this is not a free reading. And this is a super chat live. Now, what does that mean? What is the difference between my super lives and my super chat lives? Well, my super lives, I give you the question. I pose the question ahead. It's always one question, and that's the question that I'm going to be channeling for the whole session. Super chat lives are you ask me and I answer your questions. Now, number one, they need to be open-ended, okay? And I've given you examples of those open-ended questions in the chat. So all you need to do is take a look at those example questions and figure out which one out of all those that are there you would like to find out more information on. Okay, so I have no idea what you're gonna ask, which is why I have like so many, I know you guys can't see it, but I have like my whole entire table, practically half of the table is all the decks that I normally use for love in the love sector. So I'll definitely be focusing only on love questions. Maybe later on today, I'll do something else like career for those of you who are interested in career and finances. But for right now, at this moment in time, I'm only going to be focusing on love questions. Okay. And again, you have the examples in the chat. Please note that these messages are for entertainment purposes only, and I will be reading that shortly. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Monica. Hello, Monica. Thank you so much for joining the chat and also for taking part in this session. I'll be starting momentarily. In the meantime, let's review some important parts here. First and foremost, this reading, because it is an open one personal question reading, is $15 USD. It is super chat only, okay? You have one open-ended personal question regarding your love life, and you can take a look down below or above. It all depends how you're looking at this. You have the example questions in the chat, and you have the example questions in the description box. My credentials are there as well. And let me review the legal disclaimer. Please remember that readings should never replace. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. Please note that readings should never replace professional licensed medical, financial, therapeutic, legal advice, or professional licensed medical, financial, therapeutic, legal help. My readings are for entertainment use only and are not replacements for getting licensed professional medical, financial, therapeutic, legal advice. In the chat, you will see after the legal disclaimer, there are questions, there are open-ended questions there for you to select, just in case you're having a difficult time, okay? Please note that there are no refunds. This is not a free reading. And the $15 USD reading is focusing on the Super Chat Live. You ask, I answer, okay? That being said, hello, good morning, Monica. Thank you so much for being here. And your question, what will happen with my love life? So, okay, yeah. So what can you expect? What could be the possibilities, right? The potential here in your love life. Let's take a look here at the potential here in regards to your love life. All right. All right, Monica, good morning. I don't know where you're at right now, but here it's morning. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All right, let's use, actually, it's so funny because I was going to use a different deck, but I'm being called. Oh, wow, it's afternoon where you are. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's see, because I want to dig. You know me, I like to go straight into details. All right, so let's see what's coming through for you. Now, this is going to be a highly detailed reading. So for those of you who are watching or end up watching in a few, just know that it is a detailed reading. All right. All right, let's take a look here, Monica. What could be coming up here in regards to your love life? What's coming up? All right. The winged wise ones, angelic help, miracles, miraculous aid. All right. So what I'm getting here with this, by the way, this is such a beautiful card here. Shows like the angel wings. It's giving the energy here. Okay. So this is the energy of the ethereal. And I know this is probably not what you want to hear, but of course, we're going to keep exploring aspects of this divine timing. But there is something here connected very much to divine timing. Now, does that mean that, that means that you have to have the faith that the right compatible partner or friend, or however this may start off as friends and things of that, it's going to happen with time. Now, I know that's usually not what we want to hear, right? Because we want to know like exactly what's going to happen. And again, we're going to decipher here more. But at the end of the day, what may happen in the potential future is really not so much in your hands, it's in fate and destiny's hands. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, like it's hands off type of energy. Of course not. There's this energy that I'm getting here to continue to do the things that you are doing so that it could get you closer to attracting that partner that you are wanting to attract. You are getting help. So it's not like you're doing this alone. You may feel like you're doing this alone in the earthly plane, right? Because you're unable to see with your physical eyes certain things, right? But this is talking about that you're getting a lot of help, whether you may see it or not, from the ethereal realm. And so there's certain things here that are happening behind the veil, but your prayers, manifestations, intentions, affirmations are being heard. Okay. So you're not alone in the process. So that's a beautiful, beautiful card there. You may see, and I'm not saying that this is, the case, as you know, these messages are for entertainment purposes only, but the number 7, you have the number 34 here, but 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. You may see sign symbol synchronicities with the number 7, like 1771, 777, because I'm getting like the single digit of the number 7 here, kind of like you're on the right path or you're moving in the right direction. Okay, let's continue to uncover what will happen here. Monica's love life. So we know that part 1 is, or one layer of it, divine timing. Okay, how is this divine timing going to show itself here? Actually, I'm being directed to use a different deck. All right, let's see what will happen here in regards to Monica's love life. Oh, again, angel of balance. Look at that. All right. All right. There's this sense that I'm getting here with How are you going to know when this will happen? I'm going to tell you, okay? Because this is how it's coming across. I know that's not part of your question, but you're asking what will happen. But I'm already getting here the overview of actually how this may manifest here, okay? When you are in this space of not, I'm not going to say not caring, but not so focused on your love life and more focused on balancing or creating a harmonious type of energy within all the things that are internal, connected to love, and those things externally in your life, okay, that they feel like they are on an even keel. That's going to help this process a little bit quicker for you, okay? Because once that there's this kind of like harmony, balance, stability, and I'm not saying that you're not, that things aren't stable. I'm saying that they could be more in harmony and more in balance. Okay, they could be much more in harmony and balance. And I feel that that's when you feel that. And by the way, you have two cards that have angels here. So the ethereal realm is saying when we're going to help you bring things into balance, but also when we see things are more on an even keel, their chances are you're going to be much more closer to meeting that person. And it's interesting because I wasn't even asking time, and maybe you were thinking that when you heard that I said divine timing. Maybe there was a part of you that was asking, well, when? Divine timing is infinite. Like there's no specific marker for that. And I feel that the marker is going to be when things are more in balance internally, okay, and externally. There's a sense of calmness that's coming through here also with that angel of balance. So when you're not on this pursuit of, okay, because that chaser type of energy creates more of this not having faith or not believing or not trusting in the process. So there's this element here of taking that away, or when there's this like internal calmness in you where you just believe and you know that the right person will come when they should. Okay, so I'm getting the when, even though that wasn't the question. So that's really good. All right, let's see what will happen within your love life. Maybe that's the reason why I was being told to get that deck. All right, so what will happen here? I'm sorry, I have 1,000. So we're looking at potential outcomes here. I'm going to leave these two over there because I feel that that's a very different energy. Potential outcome here in Monica's love life soon. Potential outcomes. Culmination, exactly what I just said. Culmination, completion, and renewal. What will happen with your love life soon? You may be on the tail end of the healing, mending process, of the awareness process, of letting go the energy here of feeling like you are chasing. And I'm not saying that you may be physically chasing someone, but just the idea in your head, like, I'm by myself. I really want someone. When is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? It's like the parent who's driving and the kids are asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? So I feel here that this is saying what will happen soon in your love life has a lot to do with this idea of being, not asking what, is it coming, is it coming, is it coming, or being so. And it's not that the inquisitive part is an issue. That's okay, that's understandable. It's the energy within you, right, that comes across energetically here as like, I want to meet this person now, or I want to know, like, I want this person in my life, like, you have to feel comfortable being single. There's this energy here of saying, once you've completed that healing process, and I feel you're coming toward the tail end of it, and you renew, like, you have a whole different perspective on love, on what it is that you value, your standards. Maybe there's some editing there that needs to happen. Maybe what you are looking for now and what you want to see now may not be the same as what you may have wanted 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So I feel that there's this really big, beautiful renewal. It's going to be, your next connection is going to be a lot better than all the connections that you have had, because of the work that you've been putting in to your love life. Okay? So what will happen is that when you get into a connection, it's going to be very different. There may be new lessons that you will learn, but I feel it will end all those things that you were dealing with and that were reoccurring lessons that were coming up over and over and over again in your love life in the past or recent past. So there's this sense here of a culmination. There's going to be a final ending to all of that. And your next connection is going to be very different, because you're going to be very different. Your frame of thought is going to be different. Your perspective is going to be different. You have come, when that time comes, to a point where you're looking at those past relationships not as painful, hurtful experiences, but rather points that you needed to learn certain things about you so that you could be the best version of yourself in your next connection, which is why you have here renewal. Okay? I do feel that you are on the tail end of your of this journey of the self. Okay? Let's take a look here. What else is coming through? Oh, hello, Jack Mac. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. All right, so let's see what else is coming through. Ooh, something just literally, where did it go? All right, so it's actually not showing itself, so that's good. What will happen in Monica's love life soon? So you're at the tail end of healing, so that's good. What's going to happen soon in your love life? There's going to be a total different way on how you're looking at things, or how you have looked at things up to this point. So that's good. There's a sense of confidence that's coming through with that culmination card. Okay, so if you look at this person is sitting with a sense of confidence, a little bit of like, sass, but like that kind of like come hither type of energy, where it's like the divine feminine sitting in her throne, not having to physically move, not trying to chase anyone, but bringing in this person just by their energy. So I feel that that's very close to what I was feeling before, like the message that I was getting here earlier. All right, let's see what else is coming through. All right. Wow. The one who flies. Do, dare, do, reach. You're going to get out of your comfort zone, my dear. What will happen soon in your love life is that you are really going to spread your wings. You're going to know when you are at this level of confidence, this level of healing, this level of, again, turning up your inner come hither type of energy, where that is, I feel, what's going to pull in someone that, again, it's your energy is going to be so different, because that's the energy that I'm getting here. Like, your energy is going to be so different than what it is now. For example, or in the past, like if you were very quiet and reserved, I feel that that is going to be a little bit different. You're going to be more daring, more mysterious, more come hither type of energy without having even to say a word. It's your energy that's going to be different. And that is what's going to intrigue a divine masculine. Now, I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about energy. Okay? Because it's going to pique the right person's interest. It's going to pique that person who wants to know more about you. Okay? I even see clairvoyantly here, like doing things a little bit different. And again, take this with a grain of salt, maybe even dressing different or a different wardrobe type of thing. Because there's this refreshing type of spring energy. And it's interesting because we're going into the fall, or I think we are in fall already, season. So there's this energy here of newness. So very, very interesting. Your mind is going to be very different. Your perspectives are going to be different. I mentioned that earlier, but it's coming through again. So what will happen here in regards to your love life is that your entire thought process, like I said before, and I said this over here with this angel of balance, it's going to be very different. How you see things, how you view things, maybe even how you view yourself. Let's see what else is coming through. What will happen here in Monica's love life soon? So there's a completely different energy here. It's like you're going to be a very, very, and again, it's not that you're going to be a different person. It's just that your energy is completely shifted. There are things that you're also going to do here that are going to be very different than what you've done. And I'm not just talking about, maybe strategies or techniques that you've done in your, in your love life. I'm talking about, like, you may really get out of your comfort zone here. So it's the total opposite energy of what you may have been doing for many years or quite some time. You're going to see yourself in a way that's like unstoppable. Like, I'm the prize. Like, that's the energy. It's like you reclaiming your power. Let's see what else is going to happen here in the near future. What will happen with Monica's love life here? Potential outcomes here. Ooh, respect. This person that's going to come in, or that you're going to meet in the near future, what will happen in your love life is that you're going to command respect. And I'm not saying demand. I'm saying you're going to command respect by the manner in which you are going to be presenting yourself in this new way, in the manner of which you will, because your ideas are different, your perspective is different, your mind is different, you're going to move differently. And this respect is something that the person that's coming into your love life is going to have to earn. They're going to have to earn your respect. They're going to have to earn your trust. I'm not saying that you're going to be guarded or, standoffish, not at all, because the person here who's sitting in this throne is very comfortable in her power. She's very comfortable in her own skin. There's a sense of confidence, there's a sense of leadership, and it's not spoken. It's this divine feminine energy. So it's like that is what's going to be very different. The way you see yourself, the way you carry yourself, and the manner in which you are going to make it clear. And by the way, there are a lot of feathers here. And if you know about feathers and birds, that has a lot to do with swords energy. Okay? So there's a leveling up in the manner in which you logically, rationally look at love, look at commitment, look at friendship, look at building. Okay? I feel this person is going to be very respectful to whatever it is that you will be, in a way, letting them know. I feel like there's going to be healthier boundaries here as well. So what will happen? You're going to get a respectful person. And that respect is going to create the foundation and the stability in order for you to grow a connection with this person. I feel this person is going to be in their divine masculine because you're going to be in your divine feminine. That's the only way that, and again, divine masculine, divine feminine has nothing to do with gender. It's about the energy, right? So just like a battery, it has two ends, and the two ends work together to create energy. Same thing here. If you want to attract a masculine energy, then you need to be in your yin energy. Because if you're in your masculine energy, it's not going to attract that masculine energy. It's going to attract a feminine energy, the yin energy. Okay? So let me take the word feminine and masculine out. Yang energy, yin energy. Yin energy is the divine feminine. Yang energy is the divine masculine. Now, you could be in your yang energy all day, every day at work. That's fine. That's understandable. But in a relationship, then who's the yin energy, right? Because polarities are super important in everything in life. Everything has an opposite: dark, light, sad, happy, up, down, north, south, east, west. Relationships are not any different. So that energy, when you slip into that divine feminine energy or yin energy, it's going to automatically attract someone who is in their yang energy. Okay? So that's how this is coming across. Let's see what will happen in your love life soon. And we talked about the soon part at the top of the reading, but let's see what will happen here. I feel there's a great transformation here happening already. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of passion here. So if there was any question of like, well, if I'm in my yin energy, does that mean that there's still going to be some yang passion? And the answer is yes. There's still going to be a lot of passion in your connection here or in your love life. So there's going to be this stability of respect and trust. Remember that I just talked about that polarity of energy? And that's going to automatically attract. It's going to create, like I said, and it's so funny because clairvoyantly, I keep seeing a battery. And I understand why my guides are showing me that. It's because there are two polarities in a battery. You have the tipped as a negative and a tipped as a positive. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. That's just a symbol. So I'm going to say it this way. So there's a battery, you have the yin energy and the yang energy. They're very different. But together, they make energy. Together, when they're working together, it's going to make something happen. Passion. Why? Because being in the yin energy is going to attract someone in the yang energy. Being in the yang energy is going to attract someone being in the yin energy. So you need to figure out what it is that you want to attract. What energy do you want to attract? And how this is coming across here, this is telling me you want to attract someone in their yang energy in love. But in order, someone who may be proactive, someone who's a provider and a protector. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But in order to attract that, you need to be in your yin energy. You need to be receptive, to be, respected in a way, to be cared for, to be nurtured. Right? And again, that's this softness here. This is the part where while you're in your yin energy, you're going to attract that yang energy. And together, like a battery, it's going to generate the energy of passion. Okay? So this is really, really beautiful here. What will come here? What will happen with Monica's love life? I feel that there's going to be such a different shift here in your love life. This is going to be, you see? And look at this. Even though this is flipping up, it's like, I don't need to look at this. That's so funny how that happens. So I won't be looking at that. But here it says shadow and wholeness. So let's take a look at that. It says embrace your entirety, uniting shadows and light for wholeness. Remember that I talked about that a little while ago. I said to you, guides are saying here that when things are in balance, angel of balance within you, that you have learned the lessons and that you continue the healing process, when you're able to accept both your glows and your grows, you're going to embrace yourself and you're going to be honest with everything having to do with you so that you can be, it says light for wholeness. And I said this, so that you can be the best version of you, so you don't carry these shadows into the next relationship. And that's exactly what's coming out here. Again, so validation confirmation here regarding that energy that I picked up at the top of the reading. That energy there is going to completely transform you. You're going to be renewed. You're going to be a whole different person, like I said, with a different mentality and the manner in which you see things. Okay? And remember that polarity that I was talking about? That's going to generate here this, hello, Briss, welcome. That's going to generate here this passion, like the battery. The battery has a yin energy side and a yang energy side, and they're both important. In order for that battery to work, it must have a polarity. it must have a yang energy and it must have a yin energy, because if not, it's not going to create that energy to light something up. Same thing here in the connection. Very, very beautiful reading here so far. All right, let's dive into the next. Let me see what you wrote here. You wrote, wow, this is turning out amazing. I'm embodying my savage. Hold on. My savage queen era, but with softness. Yes, that's what I was talking. That's what was coming out here. Softness and heart connectedness. Yes. Yes. That doesn't mean that you're going to let things slide. That doesn't mean that you are, you know what I mean? That just means that you're going to command respect even while you're in your yin energy, because there's a sense, yeah, there's power in the yin. A lot of people just think, oh, I have to be this go 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 aggressive, type of energy. And that energy is super important. Yang energy is super important, but in its proper place and in its proper environment, right? It's going to generate, I say in career, in finances, yeah, you got to be, in that action mode, but you also need to know when to rest. So the yin energy is also important, right? Because we can't be at a full throttle, 24/7, 24/7, right? You're going to burn out. So polarity is seen in many aspects, in everything in life. Just like there's a lunar eclipse, moon, there's a solar eclipse, which by the way is today, sun. Everything has polarity. So it doesn't change for relationships or connections either. Let's see what else is coming through for you here. What will happen in Monica's love life in the near future, or potentially happening here? Look at that. There we go again with the yin energy. The softness, the nurturing of the self, the compassion of the self, the grace that you're giving yourself to transform, to change, to see things in a different way. Inner peace. Again, and I'm going to bring this over here because this is the balance that I was talking about at the top of the reading here, where it came out angel of balance. Okay. Angel of balance. There you go. Balancing your shadow and balancing your shadows. The shadow side, not balancing the shadow, but putting into balance, taking care of the shadow is going to bring light or a whole different way that you're going to be presenting yourself, and that's going to bring you inner peace. Like I said, when you're in an even keel, when you've looked at those experiences as lessons, when you look at those moments where, yes, it was painful, but there was a lesson there. There was something to be learned. And when you can allow yourself to embrace that side of yourself and work on it, then, like I said before, you're going to show up as the best version of yourself in your next connection. And you're going to be more at peace within yourself, which is going to allow you to connect with your divine feminine energy and power, where you're not chasing, you're attracting. And you're attracting because you feel very comfortable in your own skin. And by you tapping into your sensuality, to your come hither energy, like I like to call it, it's going to attract a person who again, is more compatible to you. And listen, it's not gonna be like one of these, oh, the first person I attract is the person that's gonna be it. No, you might have a lot of no's. There may be a very good time period where you're like, I'm not interested in that type of person. Or you know what, I like the exterior, but you know, their values don't align with mine. So I'm not even going to go there. So when you're very sure about yourself, you're going to be able to say no a lot quicker because you're going to notice things a lot quicker. Why? Because your perspective has changed. The way you view certain components have changed, and it's going to make you be more selective in the quality of the person who's coming in. So even if there is passion and lust because you just find this person super sexy and attractive, you're not going to stay at the superficial level. You're going to dig and you're going to say, you know what? Yeah, this person is sexy, hot, and gorgeous, but I don't see the fundamental structures that I am looking for in the connection that I want to build. Okay. So let's take a look here at what else is coming through. So I have a couple more decks coming through here for you. Ooh, look at that. The best medicine is getting the real scoop. So the best medicine, this is interesting because we're talking about what will happen with your love life, with the potential happenings here in your love life. And like I said, you're not going to be looking at something superficially. You're going to be looking at things in depth. And that may require you to also find out how this person that you will meet in the near future, how are they dealing with their shadows? Because here is that you see a spoon and a fork, but the spoon and fork aren't here. It's the silhouette of the spoon and the fork showing the shadow of where they stood. So this is going to require you also to learn more about the person that's coming in and finding out how they have been dealing with. How did they heal? How did they just leave one connection to jump into another connection? Because if that's the case, it didn't allow themselves the time that they need to really get to the bottom of the things they need to change, right? It's that instant gratification. They're jumping from one person to another person to another person to another person without taking the time to do the self work and without holding accountability of themselves and saying, okay, really? Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. They haven't taken the emotional and mental inventory in their past relationship, which means it may come here in your future relationship with shadows. So, this is talking about the best medicine is having those deep conversations. So, I feel that the connection that's coming up for you, or what will be potentially happening here with your love life in the near future, is you not only making your self discoveries and the continued healing process that you're doing, but once you recognize what you need to recognize and heal what you need to heal within yourself, then you're able to spot it in someone else a lot quicker because you've been there, done that. That's what this is talking about. Getting the real scoop. How do you get the real scoop on something? Through conversation, right? Which again brings you back to that air energy that I was talking about at the top of the reading, where it says dare, do, and reach. When you are in this amazing confidence, you're not going to be afraid to have those deep conversations. It's not going to be like, oh my God, if I say this or if I ask this person is going to like not see me again. Or, oh my gosh, I shouldn't say that because, I don't want to scare them. A person who is really into you is not going to be scared of a conversation that involves how They need to respect you or see your values. And it's not going to take away from the passion. If it does, then that person wasn't meant to, have the type of relationship that you want to have. Maybe they're just jumping from one person to the other. Now, again, when having this conversation, it's not about that yang demanding energy. It's about the yin commanding energy, meaning I am firm, I am strong in my words and in my actions, but I could say it in the nicest way possible. I could be very direct without yelling, screaming, or cursing. So it's that power of being able to intelligently articulate, right? Those conversations that involve respect, trust, values, and that also allow yourself through that clarity to connect with the person who's on the same level. You have the fork and the spoon. They're both important. You need both of them. One is yin energy, one is yang energy, polarity. It doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. There are times that you need a fork and there are times you need a spoon. They're both utensils, right? So again, understanding that polarity is super important here in your love life that's coming up. Let's take a look at what else is coming through here for you. Coffee cup. Look at that. Same thing I just said. Coffee cup, meeting, conversing, savoring the moment, feeling uplifted, and friendship. So, what is coming up in the near future here, potentially in your love life, is you having a lot of conversations with either a person or people that you want to get to know and that they want to get to know you as well. So, a lot of conversations here are going to be had in order for you to decipher where this person's head is at, where this person's, where they're at, what's going on, what's this person about. All right, let's take a look. I have two more decks. I have this one and another one, and then we're going to end the reading. But wow, this is very, very, and by the way, every single card is just validation, confirmation on what's coming through. So I say something and then whoop, we get the validation confirmation. I mean, obviously as per usual, but very telling here on this energy. So this is looking very beautiful for you, okay? Again, like I said, it's the soon is going to be in divine timing, but the elements of it, and I said to you, this next connection that the next connection here, whether it's whether it's that you have to kiss 5 toads before you get to the one, you know what I mean, or whatever. But when this person comes in, and when when you're like, okay, after having all these conversations, I can see, what this how they've dealt with their own shadows, what their expectations are. You do all that important, hard, heavy questions. And if they leave during the questioning process and the getting to know process, well, guess what? They're lost. Then they weren't serious. A person who's serious in having an exclusive connection is not going to mind having these conversations. You may not always agree, but the disagreements are not going to be about the deeper foundation of a connection. The disagreements may be about other things that can, with time, you can find a compromise. What you can't compromise is on values. That's different. Okay? Values are the foundation of a connection. So we can have a strong foundation and we could have, on par ideas about the foundation of a connection. We may disagree on certain things superficially. We can compromise and negotiate on the how we're going to get to the foundation. That's fine. But the foundation, there's no compromise there. We can compromise on the how we're going to get there, but we both agree that this is an important element or elements in the connection. That's the difference. And sometimes people misinterpret that, where they think that just because we're having disagreements on the superficial, on the surface, we're having disagreements, that we don't agree on the foundation. So if you agree on the elements of building that connection, then you can negotiate and compromise how you're going to get there. Okay. So that's coming through. Hello, Briss. How are you? I see here that you have okay, so just letting you know, guys, I'm so sorry. I should have, because I'm in the middle of a reading. This reading is 15 US. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I see. So it doesn't allow you to do it together. Okay, no worries. Thank you, Briss. You're going to come up next. Actually, perfect timing, because I told Monica I have 2 decks, which is this one and this one over here. Okay, so Briss, just hang on tight. I'm going to start with your question momentarily. So let's see here, Monica. What do you need to know about your love life? What will happen in your, what will potentially happen here in your love life soon? So I do see a lot of conversations. I do see you really sitting in your power, having a whole new way of how you're looking at things. Really, those conversations are going to show you a lot. Listen, your next connection, what will happen in your next connection potentially here? And I said this at the top of the reading. I said the one it's going to be way different this time around. It may potentially lead to a higher level of commitment. So there's going to be a progression between talking to being friends, to learning more about each other, to being exclusive, to moving up and ascending your connection to a higher level of commitment, to the point that this next connection, okay, or what will potentially happen in your love life in divine timing, is that there may even be here a marriage, an engagement, some sort of what you may require here to, to whatever it is that you consider a solid commitment. If it's, going up and ascending the level of a commitment here, whether it's engagement, whether it's wedding, whatever it is, but it's going to be serious to the point that there is going to be here potentially exclusivity. Not only exclusivity, but moving up. Look at that. Right behind it, there was soulmate. So not only exclusivity, but being on the same page with all the things that we were talking about that have come out at the top of the reading. Okay. Now I'm going to put wedding down, and look at this. Soulmate and passion. Different cards, same energy. Okay. So this is very, very beautiful here. You may feel like, I knew it. I'm like, you're going to feel like you have found your divine counterpart while being in your yin energy as you are dating or as you are in your connection. Okay. So being firm and forward. It's not going to scare this person. On the contrary, it's going to give them the insight that they need in order to really, for them, for him, for whomever this is, to really sit down and say, am I ready for a woman like Monica, right? So this is very beautiful here. This is your last deck here, Monica. And let's take a look here at what else is coming through. What will happen? What will potentially happen here with Monica's love life? So this is looking really, really good. There's definitely connecting with someone who's more compatible on a soul level and those important elements that you are looking for in a connection. And again, it could lead to a higher level of commitment. It says you have found your romantic counterpart. Remember that polarity that I was talking about at the top of the reading? You know, yin energy and yang energy. New chapter. Da 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 da. I told you. I told you. Give me 1 second. Where is that card? I think it's, where is it? This one. Here we go. Because I said it at the top of the reading and it's coming up again. Validation, confirmation. You have the full card in tarot in regards to what will happen in your love life soon. There's going to be a new shift, you're going to make new moves. The Fool is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of destroying the old beliefs, old systems, things that you have been kind of stuck in, perspectives. It breaks you out of it. It forces you out of it, whether it's by showing you connections that aren't meant to be, whether it's been lessons that you've had to learn. The point is that Uranus is an action planet. When Uranus entered Taurus, by the way, I'm a Taurus sun, I have never made such profound and long-lasting moves than I did when Uranus was in Taurus. It's now in Gemini, and then it's going to go back into Taurus for a little bit, and then it's going to go into Gemini for about 7 years. But when Uranus is in a sign, trust me, things are not the same. It's going to push you to get out of your comfort zone. So what will happen here in your love life is you're being pushed out of your comfort zone. You're being pushed to heal, mend, fix, repair, to make those emotional and mental inventories for you to learn the lesson, be able to heal from them, and find yourself in a renewed state so that when you step out, like this Fool card, into the dating pool, into the dating scene, you are stepping out as a new version of yourself, or the closest, newest version of yourself that you can step out. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have arguments or disagreements in your connection, but what it means is you're going to be able to handle it in a very different way because you've been there and you've done that. So the Fool card in tarot is telling you here, you will be taking a leap of faith. You're going to be making new moves. There will be new love opportunities here. You're going to, it may not be in your same town, because this sometimes has to do with travel. Maybe it'll be 2 towns down or whatever. But the Fool card is saying to you, there are new love opportunities, and you are going to be in the energy of allowing yourself to get out of the comfort zone and do things way different than you did last time. Monica, I hope these messages have been insightful. Don't forget to continue to give me a thumbs up, like, share, and continue to subscribe to the channel. And Monica, thank you so much for participating today. All right. Thank you so much. I hope this has given you the clarity that you need and that you've been searching for. Up next, we have Briss. Briss, thank you so much, Briss. Oop, sorry, there we go. Briss, you're up next. Thank you, Briss. Briss, give me a second while I place these cards back into their proper decks. But for those of you who are watching, Hey, hi, Gustavo. I just saw you. I just saw your text there. Hi, Gustavo. How are you, my dear? Welcome. You're very welcome for the reading. I hope it's giving you some type of clarity here for you. Okay, my dear? Well, very, very beautiful reading here, let's give things time. And again, just make sure that you mark this reading for yourself, right? Like, you write it down, so whenever you need to kind of refresh your memory on what's come through in regards to that question, you could always read it back. Okay, I'm sorry, you could always listen back to the messages. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful reading here. All right, intuitive friends, up next we have Briss. But before I get to Briss, I do want to mention to all of you who may be watching here, if you are new or you're visiting, well, my name is Lexa Tarot, and I am a second degree Reiki practitioner, as well as an intuitive tarot and oracle reader. And if you are interested in learning more about me, my client testimonials, or my credentials, just take a look down below in the description box, as all the links are down below. That being said, if you would like to join me for the free portion of those of the readings, I do those, but those are not questions that you can ask me. Okay, so that's the difference between the, excuse me, the super chat lives. You are actually asking me a question that you want more clarity on. Whereas the free live readings, I focus more on what your guides want to tell you, and those are limited to 5 minutes. Okay. So if you know anything about having readings with me, I will give you as much detail as comes through in the readings for you. Okay. All right. Very, very beautiful reading here. For those of you who are my subscribers, my new viewers and visitors alike, I want to thank each and every one of you for your love, your support, and your loyalty to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry, I have a whole lot of decks here because, again, I don't know what questions you're going to ask me. But if first of all, they need to be open-ended. I don't do these yes-no situations, okay? Yes-no is not going to tell you a lot. It really isn't, especially in tarot when you have the majority of the cards are yeses. Giving you a heads up if you guys didn't know. Now you know. So that's not what I do. I like to give detail, as much detail as comes through, okay? All right. That being said, Briss, are you here, my dear? Give me a thumbs up so I know you're here. We're going to start with your question shortly. All right, awesome. Briss is ready. All right, hold on. Okay. Sorry, I get inspired, as you guys know, and then I'm like just putting the text all over my table here. All right, there we go. And by the way, Ace is not here. Ace is in training right now. He's doing his second training class. He already finished his first 6 weeks, and he's training for his second class for his next 6 weeks. Okay, so he's out training, so he won't be disturbing us. So we have a nice, quiet. Let me turn on the AC though, because this light here has me sweating. All right, intuitive friends. Briss, you are up next, my dear. So let's get you ready for your reading. All right, let me read your question here. Briss, let's see. Okay, so what do I need to know about my current connection? All right, awesome. All right, let's see what you need to know about your current connection. All right, Briss, thank you again for participating. Let's jump straight into your reading. All right, let's see. What does Briss need to know about her current connection? What does Briss need to know about her current connection? All right, Briss. So we have here, you are good enough. The first thing that you need to know about your current connection is whatever may be happening. Okay, let me explain the whole sentence here, how this energy is coming through. Whatever may be going on in your connection, when you are having difficulties or when you feel like, what am I doing that's causing X, Y, and Z? This is talking about not having that type of underrating type of conversations in your head, or feel like you are causing something to happen. Now, obviously, if it's something that you are maliciously, being very, that's something different, obviously, then, we need to, I don't feel that that's the case here, but I'm just saying if it's something like that, then it makes sense. But if you are being the type of supportive partner, or you're being very clear in your intentions, you're clear about your standards, you're clear about the things that you value in regards to the fundamental structure of what you feel is would be a healthy relationship. If you're doing those things and you are, again, having conversations with your partner, and you're opening up to your vulnerabilities, and you're doing all the things that you should be doing in a healthy relationship, and the other person is not doing the same, don't feel that it has anything to do with you. There may be issues, and I'm not saying that there are, but I'm saying, listen, none of us are perfect. So we all have our levels of insecurities and feelings of like, oh, am I good enough? From time to time, it happens, it's normal. But here's the thing, this is saying, don't allow yourself to get into that mindset or energy, because some things here that may be popping up in your current connection may not be connected to you. They may be connected to your partner, or to the person, to your significant other, that they may be struggling with, that they may need to take a mental or emotional inventory on how to better work with their limitations, their flaws. Okay. And so, if there has been from time to time, and I'm not saying that this is something that's all the time, but if there has been this from time to time type of mindset in your head, or idea in your head, that because you had that particular conversation, or that you mentioned this, that, and the other, and it's causing your partner or your significant other, they're being triggered by it. It's not, it doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with the fact that there's certain things that they have not invested the time, the energy, the healing, maybe the mental, emotional inventory, the reflection, the soul searching Because if you're healed from something, or you're healing from something, or if something isn't raw, then you can have that conversation, right? You can say, hey, listen, fill in the blank. And the person is not going to be defensive. The person is not going to be triggered. They're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Da 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 da, whatever, the conversation is about. And it's going to be this type of, okay, so help me understand why you made these, mistakes in your past connection, right? How do I know that that's not going to happen in this connection? And if someone is triggered by just having those two questions thrown at them, and again, this is just an example, and they get defensive, or they climb up, or they become, super hyper, they get super highly emotional, meaning they get very angry or things like that. That has nothing to do with the fact that you asked those two questions. Your two questions should not be triggering that reaction from your significant other's end. And if it does, then it means there's something there that's not being fully addressed by them, and it's not truly healed by them. Because you could have these questions, it doesn't necessarily mean that this person needs to be triggered that way, or that they need to pull away being affectionate, or that they need to, you know what I mean? So this is talking about this mindset here to declutter from your mind, from your rational, logical perspective here, to take that out of your head and really look at this from a logical, rational point of view and say, you know what? This is not about me. This is about them, And so that's one of the things here that you need to know about your current relationship. If there have been instances here where you've been feeling this way, where maybe there's been something said or discussed or brought up, and you feel like, hey, I'm an open book, I don't have an issue having these conversations, you're not getting emotionally triggered, right? You have here Fox. So what you need to know about your current connection here, Briss, is that there may be qualities about you that your partner or your significant other may learn from you. You may also learn from your partner as well. Okay, so I'm not saying this is a one-way situation, but I want to talk more about you, and the fact that there may be some things here, if you've been doing your healing and doing all the things that you need to do here, especially your heart, because this is all green here, heart chakra, that you may lead in your connection. Not that you're leading your connection. I'm not saying that you take the lead in your connection. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you lead by example. So if your partner isn't doing, I don't know, whatever this may be about in your connection, you show them how it should be done by, if they ask you questions that may be triggering, then you can show through how you answer those questions or how you deal with X, Y, and Z. And your partner will learn something from how you've shown something, a skill set. Why? Because in this deck, the fox is known as the teacher, the one who teaches, the one who is aware, that's clever, that's skillful, okay? A person who's a strong mate. And sometimes we're strong in one area and not as strong in others. Just like your partner, your significant other may be very strong in certain areas, may not be strong in others. And that's fine. That's that yin yang energy. That's that important polarity here, where two people may have different strong glows, and may have, areas of development or glow, I'm sorry, strong glows and strong grows, which is the part that you need to, the part that we always grow and challenge us and make us better, in partnerships. So there's something here about both of you understanding what your strong suits are, and both of you understanding where those elements aren't as strong. Okay, like for example, in my past relationship, I'm not strong with like business, right? Business aspect. I'm not business savvy. But my strong suit is, I'm an educator. So words, conversations, things, that very much are connected to my strong suit. Like I'm a logical, rational thinker, right? I'm not emotional, but I'm practical and sensible in that. So, if you have a partner who then is more yin in their emotions, then you learn from each other, right? That person learns to be more practical, stable, and more, composed. Not that they're repressing their energy, but they're learning how to be more practical and sensible rather than emotional and explosive. So again, there's a sense here that I'm getting this polarity being a very important part in understanding how this connection can continue to grow and blossom. And it's realizing to help each other in areas that need, growth, and also help each other and learn from each other. Okay. So there may be certain things here that you are literally teaching your partner by being a good example, by leading, you know, through example, and vice versa. Your partner may have some strong suits, or your significant other may have, some strong suits that you could also learn from this, connection or partner. So, excuse me. So there's a lot here having to do with working together and being, leading, by example as well. Okay. Let's take a look here at what else you need to know in regards to your connection. What does Briss need to know about her current connection? Ooh, something flipped over. And what do we have here? Anxiety. Wait, hold on. I'm going to say having conversations about this, but I want to flush this anxiety out a little bit more. Tell me more about this anxiety. Actually, give me 1 second. What I like about the super chats is I don't have to rush. You know what I mean? The rushing is not as, it's like I'm giving a thorough reading without having to rush. Tell me more about this anxiety. What is this about here? What is this anxiety about? Okay. And give me one more. What is this anxiety about? All right. Let's chat about what this anxiety may be potentially uncovering here within your connection. So, Briss, there is anxiety here. What do you need to know about your current connection? You have anxiety, you have healthy choices, and you have working too hard. Okay. So, what you need to know about your connection is what may be causing certain worries, concerns, and anxiety. What is it that you may feel that either isn't being worked on at all, or by your partner or your significant other, because it's feeling like one person is really putting a lot of work in a specific element. It doesn't have to be about the whole connection, but there's a specific area where someone may be working way too hard, much more than needed, and it may be causing an anxiety or concern, because whatever this specific area is within the connection, there's something here that may not be showing up as healthy. So the person here, whether it be you or your partner, so I'm going to leave it open, it doesn't have to be you, but I'm just going to give the scenario. One person here may be very much into making healthy choices, stronger, having stronger boundaries, focusing on something in a healthy way, not in an overbearing way, but in a healthy way. So one person is aiming for this energy here, making healthy choices in love and life. Maybe there's a work-life balance or personal family life and love life balance. Okay. Especially if there are two individuals here that may have been alone for quite some time, and now they're making adjustments on how to work together as a couple. So being together as a couple but still maintaining the individuality, right? So there may be here something very much connected to that energy, and someone here feeling, well, I don't think that is too healthy. I think that we need to do this a little bit more so that we can feel more connected, or fill in the blank. So the person who really is wanting these healthy choices to be shown in the connection may be feeling like that's not happening, and this may be causing some type of anxiety or worry. So here, working too hard, this is talking about reflection. This is talking about what is it here that either one of you or maybe both of you are struggling, because you feel that the other person is not really having either a healthy habit, maybe there's a lack of moderation, maybe there's a little bit too much attachment, maybe there's a lack of trust, maybe there's jealousy, envy, maybe there's a lack of consistency. Whatever it is, it's causing a shift where someone here feels that's not really healthy for our connection. And maybe it's both of you, maybe it's both of you in different areas of the connection, but it's causing some type of anxiety. Okay, it's causing some type of red flag situation here where something doesn't feel as stable, or something doesn't feel here as emotionally satisfying as it could be. For example, you may in your mind want the satisfaction, and let's just pretend hypothetically you're looking for a 10 in satisfaction, let's say, or a 9 in satisfaction, overall satisfaction in your connection. You're never, I mean, listen, we're never going to get 100%, but let's say, right? Let's say you want 100 to 90% level of satisfaction in your connection, right? Give or take. But you're getting 60. This is telling you here about that 60%. You're like, I'm at 60. I'm not even coming close to 90, you know? So am I pouring too much? Am I expecting too much? Am I more like a teacher? And if so, am I in a connection that's evenly yoked? Meaning, am I in a connection where we are pairing and we are on an even keel? Now, this could be in many facets, so only you know what this may be talking about. So are we on the same level here of what we're looking for in regards to the foundation of a connection? If not, then what healthy choices do we both need to make here in order to make this a less anxiety, less, arguing, less bumping of the heads, or less whatever this may be about? Okay. All right. Let's see what else is coming through. So, Briss, I hope these messages are insightful. We still have pretty much a lot more decks here, so no worries. We're still unraveling. What does Briss need to know about her current connection? What does Briss need to know about her current connection? The runner. There may be an area here in healing heart. There may be an area here in your connection, whether it's on your end or your partner's end, where there may be a little bit of a codependency here. This runner chaser dynamic here, which may show up in the following ways. There could be someone here who has a fear of intimacy, which would be the runner. Or there could be a person here who has a fear of abandonment, which is the chaser. So whether it's one person, that could be either one, or maybe both of you have, this either fear of intimacy or fear of abandonment here, that may be causing this anxiety situation here in your current connection. And I said this at the top of the reading, but I'll bring it back to the top of the reading here, where this is talking about you're good enough, right? Are you doing the work that you need in order to heal the things that you need to heal? And is your partner healing what they need to heal about themselves so they could also show up as the best version of themselves? Because there's something here about something not going as well as you would like it to be, okay? It could go a lot better. There's some level of anxiety. There's a level of concern. There's a level of like, I don't know what else to do. Is it me or is it my partner? I'm getting that type of feeling here where one person is like, I'm doing what I can, but like they're not doing their part, or they're not, whatever that may be the case. So you have here healing heart, healing heartbreak, okay? Toxicity, addiction, abusive relationships. So making sure this shadow side of both of you is being worked on, being healed, you're repairing, you're fixing, so that you can show up in the best version of yourself in your connection. So if one person has been on that healing journey and the other person hasn't even given it a thought because they've never been in a healthy connection, or they run away every time that there's an issue or a problem by either jumping from one connection to another connection to another. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, the time is up. I gotta go. They look, so they're keep looking for that validation. They're not working on themselves. So that's what this energy is coming across as, okay? Let's continue to unfold. Let's see. What else do you need to know about your connection? Now, again, all this is coming through so that there could be this level of healing, cleansing, having these conversations, getting to the bottom of the nitty-gritty of whatever this may be, right? Of whatever it is that you need to know. So this is not a surface level type of reading. We're going to go as deep as we can. What else do you need to know about the connection? Self-love is super important, meaning, are you taking the time for your self-care? Is your partner taking time for the self-care? Okay. Whatever this may be here that is causing a little bit of imbalance here has a lot to do with either a past abusive or toxic relationship, or something about how the person was raised. But I'm getting more about like an ex. So an ex partnership, an ex connection that was either very difficult, emotional, and has created this sense of blockage in some way, shape, or form. And again, if those blockages haven't healed, they're always going to pop up in connection. So it doesn't matter how far this person runs, or how far you run, or how many times you try to get into another connection, it's going to pop up again, because this is more of a self-worth issue than anything else. Okay. So making sure that in this connection, both of you are valuing each other, that's super important. That you are loving yourselves first, not in a selfish way, but in a healthy way, meaning that you are taking care of yourself, and that you are pouring into you, and that your partner is taking care of himself and that or herself, and they're pouring into themselves. Okay. So that's going to be important, because that's how you fill up your own cups, so that when you're together, you're able to then again reciprocate, give a back and forth without draining yourselves to the core. Okay. So if there's this, even flow going on here, then again, there's not going to be a drain situation, right? So that's going to be super important. Staying positive in the connection, positive mindset here. Okay. Super important in this connection. All right. If something here is happening where you're feeling, or your partner, where there's a lot of draining happening rather than self love, again, that's something that then needs to be addressed. Okay. What are the healthy things that we need to fix, or what are some choices that we have here to fix this draining, or this situation, circumstance, or event that is causing either a lot of anxiety, drain, or concern. Okay. Give me more. What else does Briss need to know about her current connection? Woo, there's way too much. Okay, so I'm only going to take, I don't know if you could see it, but I'm only going to take the ones that are up, that flipped over. So we have codependency, open, something, something, and reaching out. Those are the three that I'm going to pull out. So codependency, open, and reaching out, because those are the three that are being shown to me. All right. What do you need to know about your connection? Again, I talked about this at the top of the reading. This may be one of the reasons that there is a sense of anxiety, concern in the connection. Now, codependency here says addictions are affecting your romantic life. It may not be an addiction per se, but it may be some sort of attachment, lack of moderation, old patterns, self-sabotaging thought. There could be a limited belief. There could be a lack of consistency. There could be emotionally shutting down, like I said, fear of intimacy, fear of abandonment. There may be, it doesn't always have to be, it could be also substance. Maybe someone smokes too much. Maybe they drink too much. Maybe they're so focused on their career that there's no room to have that work and love balance. But whatever this is talking about that there may be something in your connection here, in your current connection, that is feeling as if it's not as healthy as it should be, or you're not as satisfied in something here in the connection as you would like to be. And it may be attributing to the codependent either behaviors or thought patterns or actions that may be happening here between the both of you. You have here reaching out. Well, first of all, I think open the heart was next. That was open your heart. It says love is the highest energy of them all. Let it in. So I don't doubt that there are emotions and feelings here, because I'm getting like there's just some type of blockage here that's not allowing something, maybe someone's thought process or perspective here on how to make sure that this remains as a healthy relationship. So I'm not doubting the emotion, because I do feel that there's attraction here. There's someone, both of you may be very much attracted to each other. There's something here emotionally. But underneath that, what is causing, what is triggering either you or your partner to get into these self-sabotaging thoughts or limited belief, or feel this sense of anxiety or concern, or not feel that the level of satisfaction is where it needs to be. Okay, so someone here may be holding back emotionally, not because they don't care, but because there's more healing that needs to take place due to a connection that was either toxic, due to some type of addiction, or, like I said, lack of moderation, attachment, old patterns of behavior, self-sabotaging thoughts or limited beliefs, or they may have been in an abusive relationship in the past or recent past. So it's showing up as triggers, it's showing up as I'm not enough, it's showing up as all these insecurities coming up because there's a lot of love. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when we talk about connecting with someone on a deeper level, when you are in a connection, there's a lot that could come through that still needs to be healed. Even listen, I've been working on the things that I've needed to work on my end, realizations, lessons, all this stuff for the past 2 years. That doesn't mean that whenever I come across my next partner, whomever that may be, whenever that may happen, that everything is going to run smoothly. No, there may be other things that I thought I healed by myself that I'm not going to realize until I get into a connection with someone else. And then I'm going to be like, aha, okay, I need to really think about how I handled that situation or what I said about that. You see what I'm saying? So there's a certain part of a healing process that needs to happen on your own. And then there's another layer of healing process that happens when you're together as partners. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be this unblocking of the heart. It says, love is the highest energy of all, let it in. So someone may be a little bit more reserved or more jaded or blocking their emotions, or not their emotions, but their heart. They're afraid to get hurt here. Reaching out says expect a call or text from the person of interest, okay? Maybe there's a lack of consistency in communication. Maybe there is a disconnect between what is said and what is done. Again, these are things that need to be discussed. Compromise, you need to compromise and negotiate on how this is going to work out. And again, at the end of the day, really taking a look, is this, are the things that I am seeing in my connection, are they, is it becoming way too much that I'm the teacher and this person is the student, right? So again, making the healthy choices for you as well. All right, Briss, I have 2 more decks after this one, and then we're gonna close the reading. I have so many decks out here. Look at that. That just flipped over by itself, and it's talking about reflection. So staying out of this reactive mode and really reflecting again on whatever may have created a trigger, whatever it is that, isn't moving, changing, or growing. Okay. And not really getting into your head about, like, especially like, or I should say underrating yourself and cluttering your mind on, oh my God, it's me, it's me, it's me. There could be some things here that may be you, but there could be other things here that have nothing to do with you. And being able to discern which is one of the ways that you can do it. That, I mean, I've discussed it throughout this whole entire reading, but it's through reflection. Is you reflecting, was this a me thing, or was this something more on the side of my partner? Okay. Taking accountability is super important. And I've always said this, especially, when I'm in a connection, I will hold myself accountable for the things that I need to hold myself accountable for. I don't have an issue with that. But I'm not going to hold myself accountable for things that you should be holding yourself accountable. And so that is being firm, that is still being loving, but it's creating a healthy boundary. Okay. And then at the end of the day, the person has to make that choice. Do they want to change, or do they want to still continue their old pattern of behavior? Okay. So eventually a decision, will be made if these conversations and, everything else that's being put on the table isn't met, right? All right, let's see what else is coming through. What's interesting is I'm using decks that usually would give more love connections, more love. It says rebirth, giving yourself a second chance. Okay. Now, giving yourself a second chance is talking about the entire connection. What do you need to know about the connection? Are there too many chances that are being given? Are there lessons being learned when those chances are being given? Are patterns changing when those second chances are being given? Are words and actions meeting when those second chances are being given? So those are questions here that are coming through here in regards to your connection. Okay, Briz? I don't know if you're there, Briz, but if you are, give me a thumbs up because I'm not sure. All right. I have this deck and another deck, and then we're going to be closing out your reading. Okay, Briz? Now, this deck here has messages on both sides. Let's see what's coming through. All right. So I do feel that there is emotions here. It's just says on pins and needles, rough patch, beanstalk. You may be going through a rough patch right now. You may be going through a period of really figuring something out here. First of all, this is the message. What I want to show you, I'm going to bring it right side up because this is upside down, but I'm going to bring it right side up. There's something here about, is this connection ascending? Is this connection elevating? Is this connection moving up, leveling up? Okay. So this is saying there may be something here that may not feel as it's moving up, that you may feel that it's not ascending, that you may feel you're not as satisfied, that you may feel there's more anxiety and concern, then there may be here changes or a change that needs to happen. So either one of you or both of you may feel a bit like you're on pins and needles. Again, this is where anxiety came, and I gave you clarity on this anxiety. So it's like feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Like, I'm not going to say this because it's going to trigger a reaction and it's going to trigger an argument. That's not very healthy. Okay. Because it's more of this kind of like repressing or suppressing and making it seem like everything on the superficial level is okay, when in reality, deep down inside, at the core, there may be more things that need to be leveled into this healthy perspective, right? It needs to change. All right, so we have no on pins and needles there. Let's see what else is coming through in this reading for you. Okay, we have this, and we're going to close with this. Actually, let's close. Hold on a second. We're going to close with an advice here. Okay, so I'm going to use this one in a few minutes. Okay, got it. So Briss, you wrote it's like it's stuck, no movement. Yeah. The reason why it may feel stuck and there's no movement is because there's something going on here in regards to clearing something up. There may be, like I said, something here about your partner needing to heal a part of themselves where they're fearing intimacy. Okay? And they're shutting their heart down. It's causing some type of anxiety on your end. And it's like you, okay, you being the fox, let's say, you have been doing the work, you've been putting in the skills, you're showing how a healthy relationship should flow. And it's as if this person is, not in that energy. They're kind of caught up in something here that may really not have anything to do with you, but you're feeling the effects of it because it's impacting you. It's impacting your connection. That's why your first card in this reading is you are good enough. So it's not about the something that you may not be doing enough. It's where is your partner's head at? Where are they? Are they in this codependency runner chaser dynamic? Why isn't that they're opening their heart all the way to show the movement that is necessary in order for you to feel a level of satisfaction within your connection, or that you may feel that the connection is super healthy, right? What is not being said? What is your partner not saying? What is it that they're not expressing? Okay. At the end of the day, this card is rebirth. So there needs to be a huge turnaround here in order for this to feel more on an even keel. So it keeps coming up that this person has some type of runner chaser dynamic lingering in their life, and that may have nothing to do with you. So if it's not the runner dynamic, which is the fear of intimacy, and that's the reason why the person runs, or if it's not the chaser dynamic, which is the fear of abandonment, this person still may, they may teeter on both. At times they're fearing intimacy, at times they're fearing abandonment. So they could be teetering on either one, or they may show one day, 1 week, next month they may show another. But the point is that that's not healthy. That's a codependent behavior. That's something that hasn't been healed within this person, which is why they have the healing heart. And codependency has come out here twice in this reading. So it's talking about here that this situation, this connection that's not unfolding, that is not moving, needs you need to reflect on it. You need to reflect on what is going on in regards to what you may say, so something here changes. Communication is going to be super important. What is your limit? What is your time limit? How much time are you going to keep investing? Like I said, this is coming across like I'm giving all these chances, but I'm not seeing something move. And it may have or create this energy inside of you that you're like on pins and needles. You're like, well, I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to make, my partner feel bad, but I'm feeling bad. I'm not feeling like something is elevating. And I said that a little while ago because I talked about here that this is upside down. These are balloons, and in their upright position, they're moving up, they're ascending. In its other position, this is saying something is not moving, something is not elevating. And there may be times where you feel like, should I bring it up? Should I say this again? Because I don't know. Will it create being stuck? It says it here. So there's something here that lacks the movement, that also lacks, and I'm going to tell you this, that lacks the student mentality. And what do I mean by student mentality? I mean, your partner may not be at the stage of learning this yet. You understand? They may be in a stage where they haven't even realized that all this stuff from their past or recent past is doing a little bit of a peekaboo in this connection, and that something isn't quite right. So there needs to be here some sort of communication in order to really expose all of this. And at the end of the day, you making the healthy decision for you on how you may want to move this, right? So, and I said that at the top of the reading here, when I was talking about a time, what is this? Angel of time, where there may be either a lot of time or putting in a lot of work in something or in this connection that maybe this person didn't even start getting into a connection, or that maybe they started a connection where they weren't even healed yet. You see what I'm saying? That they weren't doing the work. They may have been single for a while, but that doesn't mean that they were doing the work on getting themselves prepared for the next connection. So that's how this is coming across here. So let's see here. What's coming through, what you need to know about this connection. It says disguise chameleon. Wow. All right, so there's something here about a facade. This is talking very direct, Briss, so listen carefully. This says disguise chameleon, versatility, camouflage, agility, careful creature cloaked in colors. Give me heart with peace. Okay. Now, it's going to get to the nitty gritty here. Please note that these messages are for entertainment purposes only. All right. Listen carefully. The person that you may be in a connection with may be showing you from the outside, like, I'm healed, I'm good, everything is great. I'm a person who's really ready. When in reality, they may not be fully emotionally ready. They may seem on the exterior like, this is a good catch. When you start peeling back the layers, we start seeing codependency issues. We start seeing the heart being blocked. We start seeing things are not elevating, they're not moving. We start seeing here situations from their past or their recent past have broken their heart. They may not be emotionally there. You may have a person who may have had issues with their self-worth. Maybe something may have happened in the past connection that has triggered that response. Okay. They may have issues here being very honest about something, or their words and their actions meeting, meaning they say something and they're able to show it consistently, because there's something here that is not sustainable. There's something here that was shown as, this is the type of person that I am. I'm healed, I'm good, I'm accomplished, whatever it was. But behind the scenes, it could be someone who's struggling with depression. It could be someone who struggles with addiction. It could be someone who's struggling with self-worth issues. It could be someone that's struggling underneath depression, anger management issues, something. But they're not showing that. They're coming across as someone who, I'm good. They're showing their representative, so to speak. And slowly, with time, you're going to catch up to whatever this is. So there's something here that you need peace of mind about. And that is where this person is and where do they want to go and what are they doing in order to create the type of relationship here that you're looking for in regards to it being healthy. So I said this before, I'll say it again. It says disguise chameleon, versatility, camouflage, okay? Agility. Things are not moving as they should here. Okay, you may be more agile, but your partner may not be, which is the reason why you're like, something isn't moving, something feels stuck. Whereas they may not even look at it that way. And maybe they've been in relationships where his past partners have dealt with that because they have come unhealed. They are not aware. So they go along with the process of whatever this person is doing. But you're coming in with a whole different vision, with a whole different, you know, ability to see this connection, because you are coming from a different perspective. You're coming from a place where, you know, I've done my healing, I've done this, I've done that for myself individually, and you may be showing up as your best version, but is your partner showing themselves up as the best version of what they could be or who they could be in this connection, in being your partner? Okay, so again, that's something for you to keep in mind. Okay. Hello, Monica. Welcome. Well, listen, you came at the right time, Monica, because like I said to Briss, I have two decks here for Briss. I have this one, and then we're going to end the reading. So thank you so much, Monica, for stopping by. All right. So let's take a look here, Briss. Ooh, Three of Cups, reconciliation, reunion. Three of Cups is also friendship. Aside from the fact that there's a celebration here, right? Three of Cups is vibing at the same level. It's looking at things from a reconciliation and reunion, mending, fixing something, and celebrating the things that have been mended, healed, and repaired. So there needs to be a huge, real deep conversation. With that conversation, and I know if it's something that you've been investing for months or whatever, that's fine. But there has to be a timeline here to be shown something so that you are aware of what's going on here. Because I feel that this person is giving a really good show until it's going to catch up with him. Because there's going to be a point in time, like you can have someone idling, you know, you can have someone idling for a while, but if it's a person who's really intelligent and logical, analytical, intelligent, and resourceful, they're going to notice the BS very quickly. You're going to be able to call out the BS very quickly. And so you may be at that stage where it's time to have a very, very essential talk here that, you know, may be kind of like, listen, I'm only going to be in this for this amount of time. And again, this is just my example. I'm only going to stay here this amount of time. If I continue to see this, and this, I'm going to have to pull back from this connection because I don't see the healthy things that I need to see in order for this connection to continue to grow and unfold. And whomever loves you and cares about you is going to honor your timeline. They're going to honor it because at some point, they're going to have to admit to themselves, you know what, maybe I'm not ready for Briss. Maybe, you know, Briss is at a different level emotionally and can give in a way that I'm not ready to give at this moment in time. Okay. So, and these things have to be from that person's perspective. You can't force someone to change. You can hold someone accountable, okay? and you can have deep conversations, but you can't force someone to change. Okay. So let's take a look here at the advice for you, Briss. Okay. Now this deck has almost like 90 cards. It's so thick that I have to shuffle in a very unique way, because if not, my hands are too small to shuffle all these things. This huge deck here. All right, there we go. All right, Briss, let's see what's coming through for you. What is the advice for Briss in regards to... Ooh, something flipped over. Let's see what flipped over for you. And you have warrior spirit. Now, what's beautiful about... Now, I'm doing this because... Okay, there. Warrior spirit. Warrior spirit is a beautiful energy here, because this person is looking at the horizon. They're looking at the next either path that we're going to travel, either together or apart. Okay, so that's that energy that's coming across. Warrior spirit, listen carefully. Your advice says you're being called to show your unyielding will. In other words, it is time for you to discuss your firm, healthy boundaries. I said that there's going to be a time limit here. This is not going to last too long here, because someone is going to put their foot down and say, listen, we've been getting to know each other this amount of time, and it is time either we're all in or we're all out, or whatever the conversation may be about. Where every conflict in life becomes a proving ground for your resilience. Okay, you're going to have to stand firm on the things that you believe in. You must hold your ground no matter the external pressure. What is this saying? Let's say you say, listen, I'm only going to wait for so you're forcing me, or this may be an argument that may be coming in your drive. Oh, so you're pushing me, you're forcing me to be da 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 da. And you may come across and say, listen, I'm not forcing you and I'm not pushing you. I'm telling you what my firm boundary is. I'm going to tell you my timeline. So you can do whatever you want. I'm just letting you know where I'm headed, where I'm focusing, what I'm looking for. You could be part of this future plan, or you can be not part of this future plan. But I'm not going to sit and wait, because as I am waiting and investing, I could be investing in someone who is more healed, who is showing me reciprocal energy, who is showing me consistent action, who is showing me fill in the blank. So that is what this is talking about. This says you must hold your ground no matter the external pressure. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some triggering, because I'm seeing it clairvoyantly. I'm seeing two people arguing about it, and someone being super defensive, making you question your sanity, making you question, like, oh, why are you rushing me? Why are you pressuring me? Why don't you just let things unfold? There's certain things that, yes, need time to unfold, but if they're there from the start, you're going to see them from the start. You don't need a whole year to unfold something. You're either on board, healthy, making, healthy decisions and ready to love and to open and to learn, or you're not. So there's no gray area there. That's what this is talking about. And listen, I'm not even making this up. I told you this from the top of the reading with this Fox card, by the way. Listen to the following. It says, you already possess all the tools to you already possess all the tools to fight this battle. I told you, you're coming on board as teacher spirit. I said it before. This is giving validation confirmation. It says, just trust your abilities. Trust in what you're about to have the conversation about. Trust that you need to hold your boundary. healthy boundary, that you need to stand in your own power, because if not, this here is going to continue for a very long time, because you're going to continue to allow certain things to exist for a long time. Okay, so again, you have warrior spirit here coming through for you. I hope these messages have been insightful for you here, Briss. I hope that you have gained the clarity that you've been looking for. And yeah, so thank you so much, Briss, for stopping by today. Okay. All right. All right. So we have here Monica. Welcome, Monica. And I will close the reading now. We'll close the session here. For those of you who are interested in a super chat, feel free to take part next time when I come back on. You're very welcome, Briss. I hope this has been super informative for you. Okay, my dear? All right, intuitive friends, let's take a look at, well, Monica, I'm going to be with you shortly. Okay, Monica? In the meantime, let me just play some of these. Okay, let me see. What will be the potential outcome between me and us? Okay, perfect. I read your question. Okay, Monica, no worries. We'll focus on that in a minute. For those of you that are joining me right now, welcome. My name is Lexa Tarot, and I am a second degree Reiki practitioner, as well as an intuitive tarot and oracle reader. And if you are interested in learning more about me, my client testimonials, or my credentials, feel free to look down below in the description box. All that information is down below. Okay. All right. For those of you who are my current subscribers, I want to thank each and every one of you for your love, your support, and your loyalty to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. As you know, these messages are for entertainment purposes only, and feel free to take part in future super chat lives. Now, some of you may be saying, what's the difference between your super lives and your super chat lives? Well, on my super chat lives, you ask me whatever question that you want to clear, any question that you want in-depth clarity in the super lives. I give you a specific question that I'll be channeling, and I only channel that one question with whatever name or whatever your situation may be. So the super lives, that's why the super lives are 10 USD dollars versus the super chat lives, which are 15 USD dollars. Okay. Because in the super chat live, you ask me whatever question is floating, in your mind, or whatever it is that you want to specifically talk about, what you want me to uncover in detail in regards to your love life. So that's the difference between my super lives and my super chat lives. Okay. So just want to be very clear, so that we're on the same page with that. All right. Now, what's the difference between my free readings and my super lives? Well, the free readings, the mini 5-minute readings, those are free. So I give you 5 minutes of a quick mini reading, and I do give those of you who are interested in having a more expanded reading for maybe an extra 5 more minutes or a couple more minutes, whatever it may be, and you can give a super thanks, a super chat, or a super live. So whatever you want to donate, then you'll get more time. No, I don't do on my channel that I'm gonna skip you and all of that. Nope. You're going to wait, but it's going to be worth the wait because you're going to get more details during those 5 minute mini readings. Okay, so you're going to get more details and all that. So those are the three different types of readings that I do on my channel. And then of course we have the content, right? So I have obviously content there for you on the playlist that you could always take a look at. So basically the free 5-minute readings, it's if you want to donate, and it could be anything. I don't specify the amount, is whatever you want to do. So whatever you donate, then you just get an extra few more minutes in your reading. You get more layers. Okay, so there we go. I just explained all of that for you. And no, I don't do yes no readings. I don't see my opinion. Everyone is different, and I understand, we all have different opinions. We don't have to be always in agreement. But I feel that yes no questions really don't give you the depth that you need to know. Nothing in life is just yes or no. There's some things that it's yes, but you need to be aware of X, Y, and Z. There are things that are no, but you need to be aware of X, Y, and Z. So my readings are never yes or no. Okay. Alrighty. I'm almost done here in placing all these cards back. And then we're going to jump into the reading for Monica. Yeah, we want to do this. Yeah, I wanted to do this while Ace is in in training. So we have the most amount of time together. And Monica is going to be the last person here in the reading. Briss, thank you so much. I thank you as always for stopping by and for your super. And Monica, thank you also for your super. Okay. Super chat. All right. Here we go. All right. So Monica, what will be the potential outcome between me and us? All right. Let's take a look. Potential outcome between Monica and us. Okay, and then it says I've cut him off, no contact. I don't want to get back together, but I wonder. Okay, so what's the potential outcome in this no contact connection? Potential between Monica and us. Okay, what is the potential outcome between Monica and S in this no contact connection? Okay, let's take a look at the potentiality here of this no contact. Should this person should S contact Monica? What is the potential outcome here between Monica and the no contact? Okay, two things popped up out of the deck. All right, let's take a look at the two cards, and there are three cards. Okay, so I feel these two cards go together and this one doesn't. Okay, so you have legacy and rebirth, honor history's remains to restore and breathe life into forgotten tales. Okay, that's the first one. Okay, the next one here says temporal bonds in the realm of flighty bonds. True connections waver but endure. Yeah, these two they're all upside down, actually. They're all in the reverse. Okay. Fool's gamble. Beware the deceit of tricksters, as risky paths can lead to downfall. Okay. So I first want to talk about the Fool's game because that one is popping up very intensely, energy wise. Okay. So beware the deceit of tricksters, as risky paths can lead to downfall. If this person were to potentially, make believe, pretend, if this no contact were to make contact with you, there's something here about it being tricky, meaning this person may not fully know exactly what they may want. This could be something where maybe a connection they have been in, if this person were to pop up, maybe that initial number one connection they were focusing on didn't work. What the grass may not have been greener on the other side, like this person may have thought. They're coming back, if they were to come back, but they're not coming back for genuine reasons. They may be coming back because there's a different reason or motive. It could be that there's something about you, your connection that you had before, or there's something here about your personality or the way that you are that you bring some type of comfort for this person. And maybe that person is seeking that comfort, that tenderness, that compassion, that familiarity, right? So it's not a choice based on someone realizing that they've learned their lesson and then they need to change. It's more of an unhealthy type of let me show superficially one thing, but underneath there may be something more. And of course, we're going to explore this reading a little bit further, but that's what I'm getting here with this fool's game. Again, fool's game is coming across as, well, and it's the saying that's coming to mind is, I fool you once. So I fool you once, shame on you. I fool you twice, shame on me. So there's this sense about being very aware of this person's tendencies, being very aware of their MO, their modus apparatus when it comes to love, when it comes to their personality, when it comes to them. Okay, so this is how this is coming across. Legacies rebirth, it says, honors histories remains to restore and breathe life into the forgotten tales. Okay, so this person, they're no contact now, but if they were to come back, like I said, there's a bond here. It could even be a trauma bond for this person, meaning it's not a healthy reason or a healthy way to come back into a connection, right? There's a self-soothing situation here that is present for this person, and they come back to the familiar. They come back to the familiar person, but with the same traumas that they had in the past. So they have a history or a legacy behind their pattern. There's a history of the pattern, okay? They may want to present it in a different way. They may superficially present themselves as a person who's ready, but that may not be the case. And they're hoping that maybe you don't notice because you may be an emotional person, or there may be emotions very much connected to S. And so they're relying on the fact that you have emotions for them so that you can get back into that loop yet again. Okay. They also have here, in regards to what is the potential outcome between Monica and S, knowing that this is a no contact X, and potentially looking at this from a framework of if they were to come back. It says temporal bonds in the realm of flighty bonds, mean there's a history here of this runner chaser dynamic. True connections waver but endure. Okay, there's something temporary here about this person. They may be a serial dater. They may be the type of person who may embody runner chaser type of energy in their connections. Maybe they like to go back to what they know is familiar, not because of any other reason other than it's safe for them, or there's some type of trauma wounding here where they just want to go back and stay connected to that person, but it's only for a limited amount of time. It's only until they get their fix emotionally, and then they go back into the same situation, circumstance, or event that they showed their actions, their, their personality or whatever here. Okay. So again, that's what's coming through here in regards to this person. Okay. Let's take a look at more layers, as I like to call it. Let's really unfold and unpack this energy in this no contact person, but looking at it from the perspective of if they were to return, what would really be the scenario behind it, right? All right, Monica. As a reminder, Monica, as you always know, that these messages are for entertainment purposes only, but let's see here what's coming through here in regards to this S person. What would be the potential outcome between Monica and S if this no contact person would return, hypothetically speaking, in the future? Okay, so let's see here. Thank you for writing that question out with the details that you did, because it really helps me reframe it in a way that you would get the most maximum messages and details as possible. So thank you for that, the way that you wrote that question. It's time to release negativity. Okay. So in order for there ever to be in the distant future, hypothetically, a outcome here between you, Monica, and S, there needs to be a clear, on the part of S coming back, let's say, they would really need to ensure that they've released all the negativity, all the old patterns, attachments, shadows. They need to come back as a truly healed person, not in this energy over here, in order for this ever to have the potential outcome of something than what it was before in the past or recent past. So it's time to release negativity. It's about, the scorpionic energy. It's about the full moon. And Scorpio in tarot is the death card. So it's coming from a place that they need to end all the cycles that I mentioned before. Okay. They need to end all of that. They need to release all of that. And all of that may not be connected to you. This is self work. This is them having to really reassess what went down in the connection here before, and them having an awareness of, I'm not going to go back to those negative patterns. I'm not going to go back to that self-sabotaging thought or limited beliefs. I'm not going to go back to what I used to do. But in order for them to realize that they need to not do this, is realizing that they need to reflect and do the work to shift those bad habits and to shift those perspectives, right? So that's how this is coming through in regards to this person. Now, Scorpio is a water sign. So there may be some components either in this person's astrological natal chart or maybe even in yours where there may be Scorpio placements or Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces placements. Okay. They really need to move out of the toxic MO patterns that they have had, the modus apparatus, the manner in which they do the things that they do. Okay. Let's take a look here at what else. Let's see, potential outcome here. Let's grab this one over here. Oh, wait, hold on. Because I want to really give more clarity here on this negativity. So give me more. I mean, basically it's this over here, but I want to add more. Oh, that's why. He's Scorpio stellium and okay. That makes sense. What you can do, Monica, is if you know that information, you can actually go to the search engine, Google or whatever, and you can add what does it mean to have Scorpio stellium and hold on. And it could give you, okay, so what does it mean to have Scorpio stellium and what it means to have eighth house Scorpio stellium? For you, understanding your chart and then understanding what that means, because there are lessons there having to do with that. That's why it's coming up here. Okay, so let's see. What did you write here? You wrote it means eating intensity for breakfast. All right, well there you go. But yeah, that whatever wherever the Scorpio is popping up in the chart, it's talking about, yeah, there's a shift that needs to change within him within that. Let's get more clarity here. Give me more about this releasing negativity. Yeah, the sensuality is beautiful. Okay, this is the sewer mermaid. This is about self-sabotaging thoughts or limited beliefs. This is self-worth issues. This person has self-worth issues. They don't feel that they are sensual and beautiful. They don't feel like they are handsome, attractive. They don't feel, they don't see themselves in that way. That's what this is about. Okay, give me one more, and then we're gonna jump into the other elements of the text of this reading. I don't know why I said text, but okay. Sewer mermaid, your sensuality is beautiful. Let's see. All right, seduction and love call. I feel that this person, that S would really show a very different part of themselves. They would, S would potentially here really show a lot of passion, sensuality, kind of reel you in with that emotion. Remember that I said a little while ago, this person knows that you may take them back because of the emotion or passion or intensity that was felt in the connection. And I feel this person would use that familiar bond, emotional bond in the passion, sensuality, that, energy. They know how to make you feel good. You know how to make them feel good. And so they may lead with that, or that may be their focus here. And I said that before. There's things here about maybe even promising to be way different, promising here that, listen, I'm not going to do what I've done before, or I'm a different person. When in reality, there may be more behind the scenes here. It may be a manipulative tactic here, a manipulation tactic where that may be shown here, but there may still be residual energy here, very much connected to third party energy, meaning they may still flee and run to someone else or towards another connection, which makes the point here of why this card is talking about a temporal bond, a flighty bond, something that's not, it's only temporary. Okay. So I feel that the manipulation tactics would be a lot having to do with emotions, a lot having to do with sensuality and with passion. And, that may be the case. S and U may have a very good sensual, passionate connection, in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. And that may be used here as a tool to get this connection going back to how they may want it to go, rather than taking the time to clear their situation up or their emotions or energy. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what else is coming through in regards to what will be the potential outcome between Monica and S. Okay, let's see what else is coming through. Okay, so they have this upside down. Remember, I read what faces me, not what faces away from me. And sure enough, like we need more validation confirmation. It says, learn from experience. Old ways no longer work. Validation confirmation. Yet again, that's been coming up since the top of the reading here. This has been saying here that exactly what I'm channeling is exactly how this may pan out if he were, even though it's a no contact, if he were to come back, it would be that type of energy here. A person who hasn't learned from their mistakes. Again, I mentioned that before. It's just coming up yet again. Okay. So validation confirmation here. Let's see, what would be the potential outcome here between S and Monica? Okay. Commitment. I feel this person would talk about higher levels of commitment, but right behind it, they have third party again. Okay. So, not surprised that is here because that's the second time in this, actually, no, the third time in this reading. It's coming across as third party. This, let me show you where the first one was. The first one was here in flighty bonds. Like I said, this person may jump from one person to another person at the drop of a dime. This could be part of their MO, it could be part of their way of being. They're just, again, they're having issues here. So that was one time. I'm going to show you again. Third party came out again with another deck. So again, showing that same tendency that this person may have. And although this came up as wedding, meaning, yeah, they would show on the outside like they're ready for a serious commitment, but then right behind the wedding, they have third party, which means you may be dealing with a karmic situation. So I feel that the potential outcome between you and S is a reoccurrent karmic relationship happening over and over again because there are things that S has not taken care of on his side. Okay? There you go. A higher level of commitment from the outside, but a third party action type of energy here connected with S. And this is telling me, because it's happened, it's come out 1, 2, 3 times in this reading, that this person may have that pattern of behavior, seeming like they are exclusively connected to someone, but then being very flighty and allowing themselves to disconnect at their choosing. Okay, let me see, what did you write here? Yeah. Oh, well, that's look at that. I told you this person would be trying their best. Look at that. Love call. you know? Love call. Very interesting. Perhaps it says, I will just patiently manifest. Yeah, I mean, you had a really good reading a little while ago. It told you a lot. Okay. It said a lot about how your next connection would come in. So if this S person does not, and you know what, and this makes sense because your past reading was about your way of thinking about something, how you're going to move differently, how you're going to think about things differently, how you are going to have healthy boundaries, how, you know what I mean? It was a lot about you and being very, straightforward and da 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 da. And this in a way here is giving, like, this makes sense on why that first reading was very like, give your love life time, not this, but give your love life time, because you need to make sure that you're at in a position in life where you're able to really decipher the no's right away. And yeah, this makes a whole lot of sense. I will just patiently manifest my future husband. First reading will keep this far. Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true here. You know, as they say, remember with that fool's gamble, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So there you go. Okay, so this is kind of like you already know the type of person that this person is. You already know their MO. You already know their personality. You know how they are. And this person may not be doing the work. This person may be jumping around from one thing to the next, from one thing to the next. And again, they're so afraid to be by themselves, and that's how it's coming across. This person has such a deep fear of being by themselves, and it's like they can't be in their own thoughts by themselves. They can't be in their own energy by themselves, and that's very telling. If a person can't be by themselves, look at that. If a person can't feel comfortable in their own skin, if a person can't be comfortable being single and healing, there is a problem. There is a problem. They have in their head overthinking, stress, over analyzing. Yeah. This is why I was just talking about. This is why this person doesn't want to be by them. They can't stand being by themselves because they get caught up in their head. And the thing is, I don't feel that this person is one to be willing to do the work. This person would need therapy for a while to even consider this as something, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want assembly required type of relationship where someone is coming in a position where, again, if they fooled you once, shame on them. They fooled you twice, shame on you. And if they fooled you 3 times, shame on you even more, because they're already showing who they are. You know? Very, very interesting here. Let's keep going. Let's see here. What would be the potential outcome? Again, like I said, there's a reoccurring karmic situation between you and S. If you believe in reincarnation, if you believe in past lives, this may have been something here that this person has been struggling from lifetime to lifetime, and until they don't heal that part of themselves, they're just going to continue to have karmic relationships. So they need to come to the awareness. S needs to come into the awareness of, listen, I need to nip this in the bud. Look at that. Soul cage. It says rescue, escape from captivity and restriction. What did I say? You are the person. If this no contact X comes back, the potential here is that you're going to be doing the catching. You're going to be in this karmic situation where it's going to replay the same way that it has in the past or recent past if this person S has not done the proper work and healing that they need to do. You're going to be doing the catching again. You're going to be caught up. They're going to do the victim martyr, BS, and you're going to fall for it. Why? Because there's a lot of passion and connection here. Why? Because S knows that there's love here. They know that there's passion between the both of you. They know how to manipulate the situation so that you go back and open your arms again to the same karmic situation with either a third party or whatever is going on here. They know that you're open for it. It doesn't matter which deck I pull, it's still telling you the same, it's the same energy. So it's telling you here, this is something that I would avoid very quickly. I'd be like, no, I want someone new. I want someone who I don't have to relive this all over again. Okay? Because this is, I understand if it's like, okay, like you broke up once and then there were many years apart and then you go back together again. And it's only happened one time. But if this person is seeming as this breakup, getting back together, breakup, getting back, going away, coming back, going on, this is a lifestyle for this person. This is something here that, I would very well stay away from, because it just keeps showing this person, may have some tendencies of not healing the part of themselves that they need to, so that they can, really show the best version of themselves. This is a person who keeps running away from their healing process. They don't like to be by themselves. They don't like to be alone. They got to jump from one connection to one other connection to. There's a person who may be seeking validation through other people. Yeah, so no, I totally understand. You just wrote, I wanted to confirmation. Yeah, no, this is the best thing that you can do, is really have no, I understand. Yeah, this is confirming, because there's nothing here that is contradicting itself. All of this is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decks. None of the 8 decks are contradicting themselves. How can that happen? Because there's message here, right? There's something here that keeps saying, hey, just so that you don't forget, just so that you remember, So very, very interesting how this is. Look at that. Loss, grief, sadness, resurrection. Resurrection is about someone who wants to keep trying. Resurrection is about someone who's going to try to come back. So again, like I said, there may be phone calls, texts, or wanting to talk to you, pleading that they are very different than what happened in the past or recent past. Trying to use passion, the connection, sex, whatever you want to say, trying to get that back into the swing of things here, because this person may feel lost. Okay, because they may be sad. There's a lot of tears that have been shed, and this person may shed tears to grovel or to promise or to say, or use, like I said, emotional manipulation in order to shift a perspective here. Purification of water says emotional cleansing, rejuvenation. Okay. This person needs to resolve their issues before they even try to get themselves back into another connection. All right, let's get this deck here. I'm going to do 2 more decks and then we're going to close the reading for you. Wow, look at that house. That flew out of the deck. There's something here about security. In order for this to ever, in this no contact type of energy, in order for this to ever, go in any direction, again, I feel that this is more of a karmic relationship, but there has to be this sense of 100% security here. And a lot of what this is coming through is that this person, S, may have grown up in a family or in dynamics where the root of this person's issues or problems stem at a family level. Okay? There's something here that is not stable, that maybe wasn't stable even in his younger years. And this person, and it's sad because S is looking for security, but that security isn't there because there's so much that S has to be secure in himself first. And in order to do that, there's a lot of work that needs to happen here because it's come throughout the whole reading here. There's a clean house type of energy that needs to be present here for us to truly be grounded and for us to have a true solid foundation so that he can explore a connection from an angle of being more healed rather than trying to cause chaos wherever he goes. You know what I mean? Or cause, breaking up over here, jumping into this, connection, breaking up over there, running to someone new, breaking up over here, because you see what I'm saying? It's someone who feels that instead of just, facing their issue, they're running and they have this pattern. They've done it multiple times and they're going to continue to do it multiple times until they decide to stop that pattern. But it's very difficult to stop a pattern that has been there way before they met you, where this is what they've been doing for the past 10 years or 12 years or 20 years. You see what I'm saying? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. This is their MO. As soon as something isn't working in the connection, they jump into another connection, hoping that will be better. And it is for a little while. And then things start to pop up. And then it's like, okay, no, I got to jump to another connection because that isn't working. And this person may be the type of person who may blame their partners and not really take accountability of what the situation is about here. So that's how this is coming out. Last but not least, I'm going to take this and then I'm going to do the final read here with the final deck. And then we're going to close the reading. For those of you who may have missed an opportunity to take part in this super chat live, no worries. I'll be coming back during the week doing more super chats here, focusing on the question that you have on your mind in a format that is an open-ended question. And then I'm going to dive in and give you a personal reading. Okay. So let's take a look here at what this is coming through here, what's coming through. And then we're going to give you the last deck here. So very interesting here. Wisdom. You have the wisdom. You have the ability here to take a look at what you've experienced with this person in the past or recent past. There's a level of maturity that you are, and this has nothing to do with age. This is about you have the wisdom, you have the maturity, you have the life experience of dealing with the situation from the past and recent past. And your wisdom now, your ability to be more emotionally mature, um, have the emotional intelligence here necessary, the self love, the self worth, okay, that you have. Lean into the wisdom of your inner oracle, because your gut level feeling is going to lead the way here. And you may say to yourself, you know what, I really know that this isn't the best connection for me, but let me just double check. And again, the confirmation here has been overwhelming from the top of your reading all the way to the end. So the past 30 minutes here in this reading that we've had, it's been, confirmation after confirmation. So really know that you do have the wisdom here, you have the wisdom and the depth here to really know what the real answer to this question is, now that you have had the confirmation that has come through for you here. Okay, so wow, very, very, very interesting reading. Thank you so much, Monica, for for posing this question and gaining the clarity here, and I hope it has given you a lot of insight. Let's take a look here. Last but not least, this message here is for you. So let's take a look here at what's coming through for you. Stay present. Don't allow external situations, circumstances, or events, or S's phone calls, or S's whatever manipulation tactic may be going on here, to take you out of your present wisdom, present focus, and present power. Okay, so being in your power. This says your thoughts are disconnecting you from reality. And it may be that at times your emotions or your heart may cause a little bit of a duality. Do I listen to my heart or do I listen to my head? And in this situation, due to the fact that there has been a lot of overwhelming, you know, breakups with this person, as plural, and getting together and third party situation for quite some time, this is giving this kind of like, be careful, because could be a karmic situation, a karmic connection. It says here, an unresolved issue has you trapped in mental loops. Okay, there may be times that you self-doubt yourself, that you self-doubt through getting too caught up in your head. You self-doubt your intuition. Okay, so this is saying it may cause you, like, sometimes, like, I know what I'm going to do, I know what I need to do, but then you get caught up either in emotions, and those emotions get caught up in you second guessing yourself, and then really doubting or second guessing your intuition or your wisdom. This says here, now is the time to face it head on, return to the present, reconnect with the essence of life, and restore your balance and clarity. And I feel that that's what you're doing right now at this moment in time. You're really creating the restoration of clarity and deep foundation that you need to do in order to get yourself where you want to get towards in your healing process. And also, again, that first reading was very telling for you here, Monica. So, always take a look at that again for that kind of refresher here, should you ever need to kind of go back and be like, okay, wait, what's going on? Okay, yeah, now I remember here what this message was about. All right, so there you go. All right, Monica, I hope these messages have been insightful. Please remember that these messages are for entertainment purposes only. And thank you so much again, Monica, for your supers. Yes, so spirit guides, let's just give confirmation all the way so she gets the messages. Yeah, that's exactly. That's funny, but it's here. He does have genuine feelings, but his chaos has been damaging for me. This is why I had to cut him off completely. I'd be dragged down along. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's a person who has a lot of baggage. Listen, that's the thing. When you don't have all this baggage and you get into a connection with a person who has all these baggage, these emotional baggages, these things that they haven't cleared, it just makes it so difficult because the connection could be strong, and I say this because I've been in this type of connection before where, as a couple, we were such a great team. It was beautiful. But this person came with so many, they didn't tie up their loose ends. And so all of that, you know, became layers and layers that had nothing to do with me, but impacted me because obviously it was a person that I deeply loved and cared about. You know what I mean? And so it makes it so difficult if it's just, if the, and then, you try to be a very strong person for them. You keep giving, 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 and you're like, listen, I'm here. But there gets to be a point where you're like, yeah, I'm here, but you're not here for me in the way that I need you to be here for me. And so, yeah, it gets super difficult. But yeah, totally understand this position. I've been there, I've done that. And, I wish you the very best of luck. So, Monica, thank you so much. And for those of you who would like to take part in future super chat lives, just understand that the super chat lives are $15 USD, and you are asking me one question in an open ended way. And I'm going to, of course, bring out as many ducks as I need in order to give you the clarity that you need. That being said, take care, everyone. I'll see you next time. And for those of you who want to take part next time, I'll see you then. All right. Take care. Thank you again, intuitive friends. Bye bye.